Now we have Sawyer Whisler, and he'll talk about how you can share to advocate for our industry.
2 years ago, I was making the tough decision on whether I wanted to attend college or not. And this was probably the hardest decision I've ever had to make in my young 20 years of life so far. And to some of you, that may be a little dramatic, but to me at the time, everybody that I was associated with besides my family was telling me college is my only option. It's the only option you can do after high school. And to be honest with you, I wasn't a very great student, pretty average, B's and C's, A's occasionally here and there. And I just wasn't really applying myself all too much because I didn't like school. School wasn't for me. And when I should have been focusing on the whiteboard, I was focusing my time and my eyes outside, dreaming about the ideas that I could come up with my two passions, which was farming and business. My ultimate passions in life is either grow my family farm or build a business or both. And that's what I wanted to do from early on. So ultimately, I decided to pass on college and go into farming full time. At the same time, when I was deciding whether I wanted to attend school or not, I saw the huge opportunity that social media could provide. I saw the amount of lives that were being impacted. I saw the amount of money that could be made through social media, and I wanted a piece of it. I wanted to build a brand some way, and the problem was I didn't know what I wanted to be known for. I wanted to build a brand, but I didn't know if I wanted to be a life coach, a fitness person, etc. So I was lost. So the first year of farming, I was really just, going into the farm, working all day, and then I'd come home and I was trying to figure out how I could, figure out what brand I wanted to start. And just like anything, when you're lost, there's light at the end of the tunnel. I was scrolling through Instagram one day and I came across a farm page. And I looked at this farm page and I kind of went deep into this niche, this tight niche of agricultural people on, social media. And I found that there wasn't really anyone out there talking about pig farming. There was no people talking about pigs, pig operation, or any of that. And that's how I could be different, because our operation is mostly pigs. My dad's a 5th generation farmer. I'm the 6th generation farmer on our family farm. And we document our lives to the world through social media day to day as farmers, as pig farmers mostly. And we custom finish roughly 15,000 pigs for Eckerberger Farms out of Wayland, Iowa. And we also have a little row crop as well. But that's really the story of how This Will Do Farm was started. That's the brand name of our farm on social media. So why should people of agriculture start advocating? Why should we get on social media and tell our story? Well, the first thing we got to understand is social media isn't going away. This is something that I think we can all agree on. Anywhere you go, adults, elders, young kids, they're constantly scrolling on their phone in public places, and everybody uses social media on a day-to-day basis. The amount of lives that are being impacted, the amount of money that's being made through social media, I simply just don't see it going away. If it does go away, it'll be a very long, long time. If we don't tell our story as people of agricultural businessmen, nutritionists, farmers, the other side will. And what I mean by the other side is, groups like PETA, animal rights activists and vegans. These people are against agriculture and they want us to see us fail, and they want to paint a negative light on agriculture. And the bottom line is the consumer is getting more and more curious. They want to see how we treat our animals. They want to see what we're putting into our animals. They want to see the nutrient value of the feed that we're feeding to our animals. They want to see these things, and they want to know why we're doing them. Another thing to say is we have to make agriculture cool again. The amount of people, the population in the last 10 years, 99% of the population growth has been happening in cities and suburbs. And then the other 1% has been happening in rural areas. Most people don't really get into agriculture unless they're, born into it. But that's going to be a major problem because, 99% of the population isn't even getting born in the areas of agriculture. So we have to make it cool. And I think the way we make it cool again is people getting on social media, and that's where the attention is. That's where most of these kids are at and using their time. So let's put the power into our own hands as people of agriculture, and let's tell our story and show people why we're doing the things that we do. So how do we go about advocating? The why, why we should start advocating and getting on social media. How do we do it, Sawyer? Well, I once asked those same questions 2 years ago when I first started. I've learned, everything that I've learned and done through social media, I've learned through online learning, books, and being a practitioner and trying new things every single day. I found a real simple formula to help produce mass quantities of content through multiple platforms. Before we get into that formula, I want to talk about the fundamentals of social media. Number one thing you guys gotta understand is you must create content that provides value to the other person watching you, either through entertainment or information. Give people something that make them feel a certain way, intrigue them, to make them want to follow you and keep watching what you're showing them. Another thing that kind of contradicts my first point is we're a little different. Agriculture is different in the way that 90% of the people aren't in this industry and know nothing about it. So something super boring and mundane to us that we think is uninteresting that we do every day could be super interesting to the normal person that knows nothing about agriculture. The third thing I want to say is anyone can create content. My dad is a 50-year-old man, farmer, with a GoPro, and he holds it up daily, and he vlogs. If he can do it, you can too. And the final thing is you don't need fancy equipment to start. Every single one of you has a great camera in your pocket right now that has great camera quality that you can use. So now that you know the fundamentals of social media, let's get into the formula. The first question you got to ask yourself is what platforms hold the most attention? Where are the eyes at? Where is everybody spending most of their time at? And that's where I focus my efforts. And the three platforms that I think people spend the most time on is TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And being on multiple platforms is really key to staying relevant. You don't want to be vulnerable to one platform. The reason being is you guys have all seen the rise of TikTok this last year. I don't know if you all really know it. Your kids may be on it, but TikTok came out of nowhere, and it's one of the most relevant platforms to date. And now you see in the news that Trump may go ahead and ban TikTok, and it can disappear just like that. So if your whole brand is built on TikTok and you didn't, diverse your content on multiple platforms, and it goes away, your brand's dead, and you have to start from square one. So that's why it's very key to be on multiple platforms. What you post on one platform doesn't necessarily mean it will work on another one. All these platforms are different. They have similarities and differences. TikTok is, mostly younger people, and the clips are, 0 to 60 seconds. What I found is 0 to 15 seconds is the best for TikTok videos. Instagram is where you can be the most creative. Pictures, videos ranging from 15 seconds to 5 minutes, daily stories every single day. You can, say what you're doing, and just like Snapchat. And then YouTube. YouTube is the longest form of video content. It's the second largest search engine in the entire world. Your audience is out there. You just have to find them. Another thing about YouTube is I post on there twice a week, and what I found to be the best time for that is 10 to 12 minutes videos. So how do you produce mass quantities of content on all these social media platforms? First thing that I do and my dad do is we come up with a YouTube video idea. So we'll be sitting down, on Sunday, we'll come up, let's make a video about how to chore pigs. We want to show people how we chore pigs and why we chore pigs the way we do. And we'll go into the barn that day. We'll shoot a 10 to 12 minute video clip of us choring pigs, breaking it all the way down. And then I will edit that video, post it on YouTube, and I'll come back and I'll edit the best parts that I think that video has. And if I think it's going to work on Instagram and TikTok, I'll cut those best parts out and I'll post it on those platforms. So let's say we're in the 10 to 12 minute clip on YouTube. One of the parts was adjusting feeders and why we adjust feeders. And I think it can provide really great value to my audience, and it can be interesting to somebody that doesn't know agriculture. So I chop that down into a little minute and 40-second clip, whatever it is, and I'll post it on Instagram. And if I think it'll work on TikTok, I'll post it on TikTok. And that's how I have a plethora of video content to disperse to my audience every single day. And on this flip side, I'm also snapping pictures to post on Instagram as well, because you want to be pretty diverse with your content. You don't always want to just post video content. You want to, or just picture content, besides YouTube and TikTok. Obviously, those platforms are just video content, but on Instagram, you want to be a little diverse with it if you can be. And then on top of that, I also add daily stories on Instagram. So let's say we're fixing a feed motor. My dad and I will whip out our phone. We'll say, hey, we're fixing a feed motor today, and this is how we're doing it. And I'll shoot a little clip of my dad doing a feed motor, and this just keeps your audience engaged every single day. The final thought I want to leave with you guys is in creating this brand, it's given me so many opportunities. Right now, me standing in front of you, I wouldn't have gotten this opportunity, been able to speak to you guys if I wouldn't have started my social media brand. The amount of connections I made, the amount of people that I met and connected with through social media is insane. From a peanut farmer down in Florida to a dairy farmer in New York State to a guy that owns a pumpkin patch. We all have one goal in mind, and that is not only to tell the story of agriculture, but to show people the story of agriculture and why we do things. That's what's going to make the change ultimately, and that's going to change the consumer's mind about when they want to buy a pork product or not. Also, I think we do a really good job of telling, we do a good job of telling people our story in agriculture with a bunch of ag magazines and radio ads and billboards. But that's not where the eyes are anymore. The eyes are on social media. If we want to get to the consumer and show them how we're doing things and get them to trust us and trust our products that we produce them, we have got to get on social media. We have got to tell the story, show the story, and why we're doing the things that we do. And that's what I'll leave you guys with.
Wow, Sawyer, I have not seen a social media presentation as good as yours. Okay?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, and the audience knows, I'm in social media, and I've learned a lot here today. So
good.
Thanks so much.
I'm glad.
Yeah, we have some time here. Everyone, drop some questions. Okay, we have about 8 minutes. If I'm looking at the right place, I believe I am. How can we? I want you to give a challenge to the audience. Okay, by the end of the day today, what do they need to do?
By the end of the day today, well, first you need to figure out what industry you're in or what part of the industry you're in. If you're a nutritionist, if you are a farmer, if you're somebody that, is a agriculture businessman, you need to figure out what industry you're in is what goal you want to achieve. Do you want to bring more customers in? Do you want to just build a brand like I am? You got to have an objective, and then you need to start an Instagram account. You need to start a TikTok account, and you need to start a YouTube account. You need to get on these platforms, and you need to start whipping out your phone and making content. You got to plan out your content, and you got to think about what is going to provide people value, what is going to be interesting to somebody. This is how we are going to reach our consumers and get them to trust us. I think that people in agriculture, farmers and people, just don't believe in social media as much. We're on the backside of the curve. I think the other side, vegans, animal rights activists, PETA, they got on social media, and they got on social media early. So they've been telling a story way before we as people in agriculture have. And they've been telling a non-truthful one and paints agriculture in a bad light. So if we want to reverse that, if we want people to trust us, we have to start posting on social media. It's where the eyes are at.
I love it. So maybe do your first post or your first story by the end of the day today.
Yeah, right? Post your first story by the end of the day. Get on Instagram, say, I'm gonna start making, just talk about something. Talk about what goes in your feed if you're a nutritionist, or what you do as an agriculture businessman and what value you bring to the industry. And if you're somebody like me that's a farmer, go out, and if you're a pig farmer, go in there and just show people around the barn. Show them why we have pigs inside. Show them the great things that these buildings have as far as technology.
I love it. Justin Dick is asking, how much time do you dedicate responding to questions and comments from your audience? How do you deal with trolls and activists?
I spend a good amount of time answering DMs. I'd say probably 15 to 30 minutes a night, responding to DMs, comments, or whatever, because I have 3 platforms I got to, respond to. How do I deal with people that, get at me? The best thing to do is to kind of ignore them. And most of the time, my audience comes and backs me up. The people that follow me are, in the industry, or if they're not in the industry, they've learned something from me, and they back me up. So usually I get backed up, and that's pretty cool. So I kind of ignore the people that bring hate to me, because that's the best thing you can do.
I love it. And you mentioned about answering comments and whatever. I remember reading something about people do a post or whatever, and then someone comment, and they they don't do anything, meaning they don't give a like, or they don't comment back, meaning
right.
You are trying to grow an audience, and when people engage, you don't engage. So stop there, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right. Cool. Dr. Jim Smith is asking, how do you balance sharing the truth of pig farming with being gross in quotes to the non-farm community. I think he's thinking, I don't know where he's coming from there, Jim, if it's from necropsies or what do you have in mind? Gross. I mean, I don't think it's gross. I mean, you look at our pigs that are clean because it has leather floors, but I don't know what you mean specifically.
I mean, when people think of a farmer, they think of somebody that's dirty, let's get his hands dirty, that's, working hard. So I think people appreciate that, and I don't know. I don't really, yeah.
Something that I'm not sure if you touched, you probably did. It's about being authentic, right? Be you.
Right.
There's no one like you.
Exactly. I am probably the only pig farmer on social media right now. I have not come across anybody besides you. You do your podcast and all that and give great information about swine, but there is nobody that's a specific pig farmer out there giving knowledge like I am. That's where I thought that was really what gave me confidence to start this, was like, you want to be diverse, you want to be different in some way. And I just saw that there was no information being had and being out there about pig farming.
Yes. Share with us a little bit of your top content related to pigs, just so people can visualize really what we are talking about. So
my most viral video on YouTube is actually explaining the whole business side of contract pig farming, the contract finishing part of things, because that's what we do. We contract finish pigs, and I have like 40,000 views on that video on YouTube, and it's really just going down and breaking down just the fundamentals of contract pig farming and how it all works. And then another thing I would say, people love a great picture of a pig. People love baby pigs. That goes really well. And they love feeding pigs. They love seeing us when we're feeding pigs and explaining how we feed them and why we feed them the things that we feed them. They love that. So.
Yeah, we noticed that if it's a pig picture, it's great, like you said. But if there's a human and if there's a child, man, that goes crazy.
People go crazy.
I love it. Shane McAuliffe, he does a great job on social media as well. He said, there's no negative to being so active on social media, and that's drawing unwanted attention. This is usually the main barrier to farmers being more active online. What changes have Sawyer made on farm to prevent activists from directly breaking into his farm, and groups are now doing worldwide?
So, that's something that we have, that we have thought about that. We have a fear about that. But we are looking to install cameras on our farm as far as, putting them on the grain bins, looking at all our sites. That way we have constant 24/7 surveillance on that. And we also make sure that we lock all our doors. We have a code that you have to type in to get into all of our barns. So no animal rights activist or vegan or anybody that is against what I'm doing is going to be able to break into our barns, because it's locked up and all that stuff.
Right. And
we also do a really good job of keeping everything clean, neat. That's very important. We take every single day like, somebody's going to come to our barn.
I love it.
If somebody does break into our barn, we want to make sure that it's clean and it's a good facility.
I love that. Yeah, and I mean, if someone breaks in, that's criminal.
Yeah, I mean, we got them. They're kind of screwed. So
yeah,
they want to take the shot. They're gonna have to.
Yeah, cameras is good. And I remember that's why I wanted to have this action for the audience, because I remember watching presentations about this exact conversation of being on social media 10 years ago. And our industry has not changed, with the exception of few folks like you, right? So folks in the audience, if you really want to help, you actually need to take action.
It's true,
right?
It's the truth. I mean, if you want to reach people, if you want to get the consumer to trust us, I watched Phil yesterday. He had a really great presentation on, the scares of the pork industry. And that ad that they ran, that he showed us, that was kind of that. You can't say that wasn't great marketing, because that was good marketing, and that's scary. We have to do a better job. We have to do a better job of showing people the pork industry, and we have to do a better job of showing the benefits of eating meat, and showing how we take care of our animals, and showing that, debunking all the misconceptions and myths that these people portray on us. Because if we don't, they're just going to listen to that one side, and they're not going to listen to our side, and we're going to be too far gone. So tell your story. I encourage every single one of you to tell your story and learn social media.
Yeah. We're passing the time here. One comment about, being shy, right? I guess that's a question. What's your thoughts on because people are shy, right? Everyone's shy. Everyone's insecure. What's your take there?
I mean, I'm shy. I was nervous for this presentation right now. I'm a mostly introverted person, I would say, but it's honestly not too bad when you film yourself and you are in charge of what you put out there. You can film yourself, you can edit the way you want and make yourself look the way you want to. It's not like it's a live deal where, you film something and then you edit it and it's going to look like crap if you mess up. You can change that. And I was a little nervous in the beginning when I first started, but ultimately I think it is for the good. It's for the good and better of the industry. So I've kind of just developed thick skin and I've been able to just overcome that.
Yeah. And I was going to share that basically I faced a little trouble because I'd like to have more folks on social. So, I mean, collaborations like you and I right now and other folks, it's amazing, but there's not, I mean, I know you, that's it pretty much,
Yeah.
So.
I think it'll get better. I think I'll keep inspiring. I'll keep inspiring people, and there's other people like me, that, not necessarily in, pig farming, but they're, a peanut farmer or they're a cow farmer or whatever, cattle farmer. We're going to be inspiring people. That's going to make it cool again. And I hope that does do something and that does impact people to want to start. And I think it will ultimately.
I love it. I know we had a handful in the audience that are like, I don't want to get in Facebook and whatever else. But maybe that was a good thing. Maybe we should do in Facebook next year. I don't know. We wait for the feedback from the audience when we are done. So thanks, Sawyer. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.